Hi, it's Filo. Welcome to my September reading journal. September has been an amazing month because I read 4 books and 3 of them were 5 stars. Starting with Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, which has one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. Here we follow Princess Mara, whose sister has been married to a violent prince. Mara goes on a quest to rescue her sister and kill the prince. In her adventures, she has to complete impossible tasks, and she's joined by the most improbable sidekicks. With princesses, knights, fairy godmothers, and a grave witch, you have all the ingredients for a fantastic tale. But you'll also find a dog made of bones and a chicken possessed by a demon. So it's an unusual fairy tale with a fantastic found family trope. T. Kingfisher's writing itself feels like magic, and the atmosphere and landscapes are amazing. She doesn't take herself seriously, and the characters are very witty but also deeply wise. At times it reminded me of The Princess Bride, with the found family, strange trials and humor. But it also tackles deep matters very wisely, like domestic violence, adulthood, guilt. So that's why I'm surprised it's targeted towards adults, because there's no spice and no gory details. So to me it would be perfect as new adult at least, and even late YA. But as you know, I never quite understand the criteria for these categories. There are not many books I can imagine myself rereading, but this is one of them. For the humor, the atmosphere, the characters, the writing. Honestly, I would have stayed longer in this world, but it's a standalone. So I'll definitely have to read more by this author, and in fact, I've already bought some of her other books. If you have any recommendation as to which one I should start with, please tell me in the comments. The second book I read was the famous classic The Fantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Inspired in true events, everything takes place inside the Opéra Garnier in Paris at the start of the 20th century. We follow a few characters inside the opera, from the managers to the singers, the dancers, and even some spectators. All have perceived the Fantom in a different way. Everything is told by a journalist who has gathered all these informations and talked with a few of the characters. The reader is transported with them backstage, underground and in the maze of the opera, to the point where he doubts his own senses and he wonders what's real and what's not. Sometimes poetic, sometimes journalistic, and even sometimes comical, this is a true masterpiece that ingeniously mixes mystery from detective novels, supernatural, gothic novel, and comedy. After reading this book, I recommend watching a video about the true events it's based on. I leave the link in the description below. It's absolutely fascinating in my opinion, and I think that it will make you appreciate even more the genius of Gaston Leroux. As a classic, of course, it also inspired more contemporary works, and I'm pretty convinced that it inspired The Master and Margarita as well as other works, but I don't want to spoil anything, so you'll have to read it first, and then I'll happily chat with you in the comments about what other works I think it inspired. The last two books I read in September were The Hawthorne Legacy and The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. These are the last two books in the Inheritance Game trilogy, which I very much enjoyed from start to finish. As some of you won't have read the first book in the series, I won't spoil anything. Just know that it's about a teenager who's suddenly inheriting a huge fortune from a man she never met. To inherit, though, there's a condition, and that's that she has to live in the mansion with the whole family during a full year. Along the story, a lot of mysteries unveil, friendships are made, and there's even romance and a love triangle. Very fun, entertaining, and mysterious, much in the style of Knives Out. To me, the first book in the series was very fun and unique. And even though I guessed one of the mysteries, there were so many of them and it was so distracting that I really didn't mind. Then the second book was maybe the more forgettable of the three, a bit longer than necessary but still really great. The characters are evolving and you really start to root for some of them. The third book has the highest stakes, it's the most engaging and full of riddles. I also loved the ending, which is really complete for each member of the family and the fortune itself, and all are fun and super fast read. Jennifer Lynn Barnes just published The Brother Hawthorne, but it's not part of the series. It's more of a companion novel where you follow two of the four brothers, and it has its own plot. I absolutely love the covers, so for the left page I went with blue, which is the color of the second book, and for the right page I went with red, which is the color of the last book. Then I added all the riddles on grid paper, and finally I wrote my thoughts in between. I think I will read her other series, The Naturals, which is apparently a team of teenagers working for the FBI. Each one has a special talent, and I've heard it's like Criminal Minds, but YA, so sounds good. In the end, I gave 5 stars to the first and the third book, and 4 stars, which is still great, for the second book. And here is the final flip through of the pages I created in my reading journal for September. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some books to add to your list. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. And until then, enjoy reading!